Story 1. My father-in-law is in his 80s and in great shape. He loves exploring abandoned properties and fancy neighborhoods with no trespassing signs. He says if he ever gets caught, he'll just say he's an old man who wandered down the wrong street. Can't wait. Story 2. I read this from someone else. Going to a diner alone to make everyone sad. Maybe bring a photo of my still-alive wife to set on the table to really ruin people's days. Story 3. I'm old. Here's what you can actually look forward to if you're reasonably healthy. Much better appreciation of food and drink. Much better appreciation for nature's beauty. Naps are magical. At some point, pop music suddenly became bearable. If you have kids, you definitely get to look forward to an empty nest. It's amazing. Eventually, grandkids. Story 4. After moving my grandma into assisted living, you have scheduled activities, no worry about heavy-duty cleaning, no worry about cooking, can make friends and hang out with them. Story 5. Becoming the neighborhood whose yard the kids are afraid to go into to get their frisbee. Except then I will give out king-size candy bars for Halloween. Got to keep them on their toes. Story 6. Exaggerating the pandemic as the struggle story whenever kids complain. When I was your age, we did not even have toilet paper. We were not allowed to leave the house for 10 years. Story 7. Having the experience and knowledge that comes with having lived a long life, I really want to be wise. Also, not having to filter what I say because older people often get a pass for blurting out controversial things. Story 8. I look forward to living by my own schedule instead of my schedule being dictated by work-related activities. Sleep when I want, wake up when I want, go grocery shopping at 3 a.m. if I want. Story 9. I'm old enough now to be doing the things I used to wish I would someday. Be happily married, travel, own a decent home, have a nice car, and a hot tub. Really, all of those things I specifically wanted to do. Growing up, I saw a lot of unhappy marriages and fights. I told myself I wouldn't marry someone I fight with, and I didn't. I've been all over the United States to a lot of national parks, also France last year, Italy this year, and we're talking about Egypt soon. None of these trips have been with extravagant accommodations, by the way. Some people might not even enjoy them, but I don't go for the hotels. I go for the destinations, and they've been incredible. I also saw a lot of massive houses growing up which were mostly empty and clinically clean. I knew I wanted something small and cozy. Not going to lie, sometimes it feels too small, but for the most part, I think I nailed it. My grandparents had a hot tub, and I loved visiting. Now I have the house that friends' kids love visiting. Also, nights out there? The best. Lastly, my car isn't that cool. For reference, it's a very popular rental car, so I realize my place on the automotive hierarchy. But I love seeing it across a parking lot, walking out of the grocery store, and knowing that's the one I'm walking towards. I feel like all of these only became possible with age, and I've made it. Story 10. I'm now in my 70s, and here's what you can, and I hope you will, look forward to: grandchildren. Your frequent workouts, cardio weights, easy traveling, going out on the bike or kayak on weekdays, just sitting there staring out the window, awesome naps, not caring who wins the election, not caring if the world goes to hell in a handcart, thunderstorms, old songs, old photographs, old cats, wearing comfortable clothes, going to local museums, parks, and other attractions on weekdays when there are no crowds, not knowing or caring what day of the week it is, not getting depressed about winter because the seasons come and go so fast now. When I was young and working hard, I always thought I'd watch a lot of movies when I retired, but I've kind of lost my appetite for films, even though I'm a bit of a film buff and was once hired by a publisher to write a book of capsule movie reviews. But movies seem fake and contrived to me now, even old ones. It's like kids playing dress up and trying to imagine what it's like to be an adult. What surprised me was my appetite for reading. It's grown voracious. I read incessantly on the internet, avoiding toxic politics, and am usually reading 3 or so books on the Kindle, bedside pile, or to-be-read pile. A lot of this has been made possible by a healthy retirement fund and pension, plus Social Security. And also thanks to a lifetime, at least since I quit smoking at age 35, of regular exercise, no drinking since age 55, and a strict and healthy diet. I think about death constantly, as I did when I was younger. But as it comes closer, With so many close friends and family passing away, I'm just waiting my turn. It's not like, at this point, I have much power over how it happens. But to young people, I say this: get old. Work steady and work hard. Be true to your spouse. It is all worth it. Even if you only get a few years of retirement until you die, they'll be the best years of your life. Story 11. I would want to think about just relaxing and enjoying the simple things, like snuggling up with a nice book, catching up with friends over coffee, or even going to locations I have always wanted to see. Story 12. I'm already old, just about to turn 60, and I was able to retire a bit early. Blue-collar career, knees going out, so it was kind of obligatory, and I was lucky to have just enough money to get out and to have gotten out before things got too bad. Anyway, what's most nice is waking up in the morning and not having one single thing that I have to do that day. Maybe I'll go on a bike ride, maybe I'll do a little hiking, or sit outside and read a book, or maybe I'll just stay in bed a while. Of course, there's always stuff that needs to be done, but most of the time there's no rush. I can do it today or put it off until next week if I want. It's pretty nice. When I was working and raising kids, I remember how the days were. All my waking hours, it was like rushing from one crisis to the next. Half the time it seemed like my brain never had time to slow down enough to even form memories. Story 13. Trying every illegal drug on the market. First one I am going to try is heroin when I am around 85. Move on to a little cocaine, dabble in a bit of methamphetamine, and just work my way down the list. Story 14. Going to my kids' house and totally acting the way they did growing up. Just leaving food out, my shoes spread out, not flushing the toilet, and having food right next to the trash can instead of being in it. I can't wait for those days. Story 15. My dad plays a lot of golf. My father-in-law travels. Once I'm no longer spending 45 to 50 hours at work every week, I want to do whatever I want to do with my day. Story 16. Just having the time and property to really grow a garden. I already love gardening, but only as a house renter. I want to make a garden where I'm able to plan like 10 years in advance how it will look with what I plant today. Story 17. I'm going to set my chair up in nice places and stare at nature. I'll live my dream and be Sophie from Howl's Moving Castle. When you're old, all you want to do is stare at the scenery. So strange. I've never felt so peaceful before. Story 18. LAN parties and board games with my wife, brother, and friends. We are in our 40s now, and it's getting closer to that party at an old folks' home sooner than it looks. Story 19. Holding the love of my life in my arms while we're old and gray, looking each other in the eye, reminiscing on every moment, feeling the love we shared through the ages as if we were in the moment, experiencing it for the first time. Every hardship, every happy memory, every key moment, and just knowing I found my one, and grew old with her, accomplished all I wanted with her at my side. Story 20. I live in Las Vegas. Every day I have to go to work. Every day, I see old people sitting at slot machines, chain smoking, and pressing the button to spin the reels. They are retired, and all they do is come to the casino in the morning, drink coffee, smoke, and spin the reels. I cannot wait to be one of them. Story 21. Having really long gray, white, or silver hair and dressing like a witch year-round, scaring neighborhood kids by having a purposefully spooky-looking house.